Welcome to this, your daily 180 Bible study. We're in James chapter 2, and today we're going to look at verses 20 through 23. We're looking at the example of Abraham, and we see that faith and works, or the idea of faith and obedience, must be wedded together. Can we earn our salvation? No. Can we simply have a faith alone? Absolutely not. Verse number 24 says we're not saved by faith alone, or faith only. But look at this passage. Begin with me at verse number 20. But do you want to know, O foolish man, that faith without works is dead? Was not Abraham our father justified by works when he offered Isaac his son on the altar? Do you see that faith was working together with his works, and by works faith was made perfect? And the scripture was fulfilled which says, Abraham believed God, and it was accounted to him for righteousness, and he was called the friend of God. Verse 24, you see then that a man is justified by works and not by faith only. Isn't that interesting? As a matter of fact, let me point out to you that many people want to say that we are justified by faith alone or by faith only. The only place you find those words together are here in verse number 24, and it's preceded by the word not. We are not justified by faith alone. Isn't that interesting? When we think about Abraham, Romans chapter 4 said that he was not justified by works. What's it talking about? He was not justified by works in the sense of meritorious works. He didn't earn his salvation. But here it says he was justified by works. What's it talking about? Remember, you don't define a word in isolation. What's the context talking about? James is talking about works in the sense of obedience. Works in the sense of trusting God enough to do whatever he says. Over in Hebrews chapter 11 and verse number 17, there we read about what Abraham did. By faith, Abraham, when he was tested, offered up Isaac, and he who had received the promises offered up his only begotten son. He trusted God enough to do what God said. As a matter of fact, back in Genesis chapter 22, God tells him that he has to do this, that he has to offer up his son. And listen to Genesis 22 and verse 3. So Abraham rose early in the morning and saddled his donkey and took 2 of his young men with him and Isaac his son and the split wood for the burnt offering, and arose and went to the place of which God had told him. Early in the morning. He didn't delay. Listen, friends, when God tells us to do something, a true biblical faith says, I'm ready, I want to do it, and I want to do it now. Join us again tomorrow for your Daily 180.